Hey guys, it's Rachel from the Little Ring Lamb, and today I'm doing the time and place book tag. This tag was created by Jen Campbell, and basically I wasn't tagged by anybody, and this tag's a little bit old, but basically her idea or her concept was to basically pick 10 books. For this one I'm only going to pick 5 though, because I saw a few people pick 5, and just for length and time for this video, I decided to do that. But basically you pick 5 books and you talk about like where you read them, kind of like what you were feeling, what was going on while you were reading them. It just sounded like a very interesting premise, so time and place. And so I picked 5 different books. These aren't necessarily my favorite books, it's just books that I think I had a more unique from other reading experiences I had, or just like good memories that are associated with reading these books I thought I'd talk about. So we're going to start with number 1. Number 1 is Perfect by Sarah Shepard, the 3rd book in the Prelude series. Now some of you may have heard this story because I think I did mention it in my book review of this book. But basically the gist of this was that I was at my best friend's house sleeping over, and I remember we were reading the next day because she's a reader just like me, so we were just like reading our books, and I got to the end of this book and there's a message from A that's like on the last page, I believe, or very close to the last page. Is like the most chilling A message that I think is in the whole series, almost like it's at least top 5 of A's messages. And I just had to get the next book, and I didn't own the next book, and it was also like mid-afternoon the next day, so it was fine to leave. And like she knows what it means like to be on a cliffhanger, and the 4th book had just been released in paperback that day, so I remember I called my parents, then I asked if we could go to the bookstore before we went home because I really need to pick up the 4th book. Also, sorry if the lighting's changing. I'm trying to film in natural light and it's just not working out, of course, now. But basically that's one of the good memories I've associated with this book. It's just like, I remember that time so vividly because I had to get the 4th book. The 2nd book is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. Now I read this year, but this year I actually picked it up, this series. I picked up the first 2 books on Easter weekend. And I like usually go to the bookstore with my sister. For some reason I always pick up a book Easter weekend because we just walk up to the plaza. I picked this up because one of my friends and then a lot of other people online were talking about the show Outlander and the books, and then I was really confused with what was happening, so I looked it up and it sounded very good, so I decided to pick it up. And basically the week after Easter I hadn't started this. I don't think I started right at Easter, and then I had 3 days of school left, I believe, and then I was off for exams. And basically my study regime, I try to study for an hour and then have a 15-minute break. So all my 15-minute breaks, I was trying to read as much as I could. Didn't get very far because, you know, the size of these books. But it was like, I read this in a week, and it was just like that week, like I'd be like study, read, like back and forth, and I'd be carrying it to school and reading it more. So, because sometimes I don't take my books and carry them to school. I've been doing more so this year, but like sometimes with transportation, I don't like them to get ruined. And then if I know I'm meeting somebody at school, I might not take a book because I'm just like, I'm going to talk to somebody. So, yeah. So I've been carrying a book with me more, but I started carrying this with me. Also, like, if it has a really cringy cover, I'm probably not going to bring it to school because I can't handle that judgment. The 3rd book I have is The Rosie Project by Graham Simsian. And now I read this the beginning of last year. I remember it was September, just starting my 2nd year. I don't think I read it right at the beginning of school, but I read it very close to. And I remember on Thursdays I had a class, I think it ended at 10:20, and then my next class is at 12:20, so I had like a 2-hour gap, or 12:30. And it was my Chinese history tutorial, and I remember just going in this building in my school, and they don't have very much seating, so I was trying to find a seat, and I was sitting outside and eating my apple because I always bring an apple typically if I'm going to be sitting at school. And I remember just devouring this, trying to read outside. Bees started swarming and I went inside. And just like loving this book. I read it so fast. It's not like, the inside of the font's pretty good size and stuff, so you can make it through this pretty fast. And also the writing and just the general story makes you want to move through it fast. And I just have really good memories associated with this because I was really in that month of September really like kind of struggling with going back to school because I was very scared that I wasn't going to work out well in my program because it was something I was very new to, especially in a more rigorous program. I never took law in high school. I didn't really have any interest in it until first year university. So reading this definitely helped me to kind of escape like what was going on and just really relax and enjoy this. And it was actually one of my favorite books that year, and I absolutely love this book. So my 4th book is If I Stay by Gail Forman. Now I picked this up on my last exam day of my grade 11 year, and that was the day I started my booktube channel, and I went to the store to do like kind of like a book haul for my first video. Please don't go back, it's scary. I tried to look back at my old videos, I just can't. bring myself to. It's just so awkward. Well, probably still awkward, but to me, I'm more awkward. But I really enjoyed this book. Like, it wasn't my favorite book in the land, but like, it has such good memories because just going to the store, and I walked up to the store and bought it, and then I sat down on my webcam and filmed my first video, and I was so happy and so excited. And it just kind of looking at this and like remembering this just kind of brings me back. Like, this book wasn't my favorite in the land, but I really did enjoy it, and it just brings back those memories. I bought a few other books that day, but this one's the one that I read right away, so it's more reminiscent to that. And then finally, the last book is Eleanor Park by Rainbow Rowell. Now, this is another kind of buying story. So I was going to the theater with my best friend and her mom because we were going to see Safe Haven when it came out. And I remember that this book had come out like a week or so before, and I'd heard like really good things, like buzz about it. And I was super excited. We went to the bookstore after because the movie theater is right beside the bookstore. So her mom, I think, went to go do some shopping at a store near there, and we went to the bookstore. And I remember wanting to pick this up because I'm like in my head I was like, this is going to be blown up. Like, I feel like everybody's going to be talking about this. Already it's getting a lot of buzz. So I'm going to pick it up because it sounds really good as a cute cover. And boy, was I on the cusp of this. I was really excited because it's like, yes, finally I'm in the know about something that's being popular, a book that's popular around BookTube. And I just remember reading it and really enjoying it. I remember I had a lot of tests that year. I had like a SPA class, which is sociology, psychology, and anthropology, but we just call it SPA. I don't know if anybody else has that. I just didn't want to say SPA, so you guys actually think it's like a SPA class where you learn about SPA treatments. But basically, I remember I had a lot of assignments for that class, and I'd be doing my homework and trying to read, and I remember staying up not really late on the whole retrospective lateness, but like at least a half an hour past like when I was supposed to be asleep. So yeah, that was me being rebellious. But yes, that is my story, Time and Place books. I definitely would love to do this again in the future. I just have to find some more interesting stories, because a lot of them are like, I read it, I sat on my couch, I sat on my bed, I read it. So yes, that is the Time and Place book tag. I don't know really who's done this because it was made in June of this year. Now I'm going to tag a few people. So I'm going to tag Tiffany from About to Read, Steph from The Book Hopper, and Jill from Slytherin Reader. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!